The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. The health department says areas under alert level 1 have generally followed health protocols. Speaking at the Laging Handa briefing, Health Undersecretary Mirna Cabotaje also reiterated that people attending campaign sorties should still observe proper health protocols. She added that so far, LGUs are doing a good job in implementing health guidelines in their areas.
Nasusunod naman ang ating minimum public health protocols, wala namang naiulat sa aming tanggapan ng mga paglabag. Mahigpit ang ating mga LGU sa pagpapatupad nito sa kanilang mga respective areas.
Now here are other COVID-19 stories we're keeping our eyes on. Hong Kong is still grappling with the world's biggest current outbreak. On Friday, the country reported over 52,000 confirmed cases and more than 100 new deaths. Because of this, some residents are now fleeing to Singapore. In the United States, the effects of the pandemic are still being felt in several hospitals, even as the number of virus patients dwindles. Medical saline has been in short supply due to production problems, shortage of materials linked to the vaccination drive, and workers who make the solution falling ill with COVID-19. Moderna and the World Health Organization appear to be headed for a clash over patents related to the company's vaccine. Relief groups are calling on the drug company to abandon 3 patents filed years ago in South Africa. Now, one expert says every Filipino is now over 100,000 pesos in debt, as the country's outstanding debt reached a new all-time high of over 12 trillion pesos in January. Shaila Francisco with the report.
The Philippines welcomed 2022 with a record high debt. In January, the government's outstanding debt breached 12 trillion pesos from the 11.7 trillion pesos recorded at the end of 2021. Most of the amount came from domestic sources, which hit almost 8.4 trillion pesos, while external debt was nearly 3.7 trillion pesos. Based on Ibon Foundation's estimate, this means that every Filipino has around 109,000 pesos in debt.
Ang point namin, ang ganitong klaseng utang, hindi dapat pangunahin pinabalikat ng karaniwang Pilipino. Especially after ng pandemic, actually nakagulat over 18 million ng pamilyang Pilipino wala nang ipon because of the lockdowns, bagsak ng kita.
Some economists are also expecting the country's debt to further increase. That's why they emphasize the importance of paying back these loans ASAP.
Yung growth ng ating utang dapat within the bounds do sa growth or sa size ng ating ekonomiya para ma-determine kung masusustain ng ating ekonomiya sa darating na taon at dekada yung pagbayad ng interest at principal.
Ibon Foundation and economists admit that taxes must increase for the country to be able to pay off its debt. But certain conditions must first be met before this can be done.
Ang laki na iipon na yaman sa ilang pamilya. I think it's only just na mas balikati na mga may kaya yung dagdag ng buwis. At sa amin, tama lang mag-tax. I mean, kasi ng gobyerno naman kailangan na ng paggagalingan ng pondo para sa gastusin. Ang question lang talaga kung sino yung tinatax.
Economic conditions nag-improve o gumanda. Marami ng mga negosyong bukas, nakaka-recover ng ekonomiya, marami na may hanap buhay, may trabaho. Siyempre, kailangan bayaran yung mga napaggastusan na malaki ng pandemya. And one way to do it is through intensified and the strict enforcement of in terms of tax collection. Yung paghanap ng mga reform measures, tax reform measures na lalo pang on a recurring basis, mas marami makokolekta yung ating gobyerno.
For its part, the Finance Department is finalizing its fiscal consolidation plan for the upcoming administration.
Our budget deficit and debt to GDP ratios have temporarily increased, but they remain manageable. And we are determined to return quickly to fiscal consolidation. Essential to our fiscal consolidation program is the improvement of our revenue collections to meet our expenditure requirements. This year will be critical. We need to begin outgrowing our debt by restoring our high growth.
Shaila Francisco, we are One News.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Several Filipino fighters are set to hit the stage in the upcoming One Championship event. Marty Bautista has the report.
A deep showcase of Filipino talent will ramp up One Championship's 10th anniversary event, 1X, this March 26. 28-year-old Lito Adiwang from Team Lakay will battle head-to-head against Jeremy Miado, the Marok 4 stalwart. The Thunder Kid Adiwang currently stands on a 13-4 win-loss record with 7 knockouts, which is why he is looking to bag a win on this upcoming bout.
I'm very, very happy and excited to represent Philippines in the biggest event of. One thing also that I'm excited is because I'm fighting a Filipino. So I'm very excited to test and show the world that Filipinos have come this far in this sport.
Filipino mixed martial arts legend Edward Folayang, meanwhile, will mark his comeback to One Championship with a bout against Muay Thai icon John Wayne Parr. The match is set to highlight both fighters' expertise in Muay Thai and Wushu. Folayang, a Baguio native, is excited to be back in One Championship circle and prove his dominance once again.
Of course, I always think positively. Sometimes we lose to learn, and those losses came most entirely because of the pandemic. But of course, that's not the issue there. For now, I'm looking forward to win because this is a great fight, a great matchup, and a great comeback for me.
As the Pinoy fighters get ready for their upcoming bout, Coach Mark Sangyao of Team Lakay has this to say about his fighter's spirit.
Warrior spirit na nasa, sabihin natin, sa Cordillera. Kasi nakuha namin siguro din yun nung time nung World War II. Yung mga ancestors namin na lumaban, palaban talaga din sila. And I think that's yun yung binase ko, yung isang na mana namin sa kanila, yung pagka-warrior spirit na yan.
1X will also feature another female standout in Denise Zamboanga as she battles it out against Ham Seo-hee of Korea. The match is set to commence in Singapore, marking the year for Filipino fighters in the global scene. For News 5, Marty Bautista. We are One News.
Now here are the top stories we're following in sports. Gilas Pilipinas, alongside the rest of Group A teams, India and New Zealand will be advancing to the second round of the 2023 FIBA World Cup qualifiers. Recall that South Korea was disqualified after they pulled out last minute due to COVID-19. With this, the rest of the Group A gained automatic tickets to the next round. Filipino-Canadian tennis star Leila Fernandez moves closer to defending her title as she qualifies for the semifinals at the 2022 Monterey Open in Mexico. The number 2 seed survived the scare in the open frame before breaking free in the next set. Fernandez's next match will be against Brazil's Beatriz Haddad later today. And world champion gymnast Carlos Yulo is eyeing a top 5 finish at the Asian Championships in Doha, Qatar. This will help him secure a spot in the World Tilt set to start in October. Yulo hopes to get a shot at a 3rd World Artistic Gold Medal after reigning supreme in floor exercises in Germany in 2020 and in vault last year in Japan. He is also set to compete in the SEA Games in Hanoi in May and then in Hangzhou Asian Games by September. Yulo's goal in the SEA Games is to improve on his 2 gold, 5 silver performance back in 2019. Thailand has recently eased its COVID-19 entry rules for foreign visitors, hoping to jumpstart its tourism industry. Let's find out the country's situation in this Bloomberg video.
Right now I'm standing in Patpong, which is one of Bangkok's notorious red light districts. Well, it used to be. Until COVID, a lot of the businesses have shut and have not been able to reopen. Now, Thailand wants its tourists back. But the tourism scene that travelers come back to might not be the one they remember back before the pandemic. Almost 40 million tourists helped generate more than $60 billion in revenue for Thailand back in 2019, which accounted for 20% of the total economy. This year, the government is setting their sights on only 10 million foreign tourists. And they're hoping they'll come here through programs like Thailand's Test and Go or Travel Sandbox program. Critics say requirements like RT-PCR tests, medical insurance with at least $20,000 coverage, among other travel documents, are a hassle to deal with and will make tourists choose other easier destinations to travel to.
Most important thing is that Thailand's got to remove all the restrictions for travel. No more COE, no more insurance. They've just stopped the second PCR test. We've got to stop all of these areas. They've got to take notice of what the UK is doing, Dubai, the Maldives, and 100 other countries in the world today, which have opened up completely. And we're still not completely open. So that's going to be the single most important thing for Thailand.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later again at 12 noon, or rather 10:15 in the morning, as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now, www.signalplay.com, and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.